right, so let's welcome them on. Hey, ladies.
Hi,
Okay,
Hello, good
guys.
morning. Hi, hi.
Hello.
guys, I
Hi,
promise you, this was not intentional to have an all-lady workshop. It was not intentional. But when
It's
we're
okay.
looking
Women
at,
rock. That's all good.
there you go.
Doing
But when
great
we're
things.
looking at who is doing the actual things in the creator space, Monica
Space.
covered the creator economy earlier. When we look in Jamaica and look at who are the ones doing the things consistently, it has been the women. Okay, so
Hmm.
last year back in May, Naval Ravikant. No, you may have never heard that name before, but I'm going to tell you who he is. He made a statement on Twitter and he said, the next stage of the web is a decentralized creator economy. And people are like, what? What is this? What does this mean? Who is this guy? So this guy is the creator of Angels List. Now, Angels List is one. It's literally, if you guys have ever heard of Angie's List, Angels List is like, and is the Angie's List of angel investors, right? And he himself is a very successful angel investor with investments in Uber and Twitter, and he has been able to make a lot of money doing these things. And so people listen to him. So what he meant by decentralized creator economy is that creators like Ashley, like Lisa, like Jhunelle, uh, through the power of their community and their own brand, are able to make money on their own terms, in their own way, through their own creative outputs. So that is what we mean by decentralized creator economy. And it's funny because it's true, here they are, right? And we've seen where the next big things in terms of people and technologies have emerged through the creator economy. So we have social media platforms and the evolution of social media platforms. And then from social media platforms, there are a ton of other platforms that have evolved to support social media platforms and to support creators, etc., etc. So it is a very evolved ecosystem that has been born out of literally in the most basic form personal branding and monetizing your personal brand. So going right into it, ladies, because we're here to give people some tea. Okay,
Yes.
for those who don't know who you guys are, quickly introduce yourselves and tell us exactly what it is that you do in the creator space. Ashley, your name starts with A. Go first. I bet you say
Makes sense.
that not in school.
I'm dead.
Ashley, you can go first.
Yeah, so hi everyone. My name is Ashley and Denise. I'm known as Ashley Carla on Instagram and YouTube. I do lifestyle and travel content around the island. And, that's my main focus. It's been my main focus for a year and some change. I actually started during COVID. and um, that's definitely what my focus is in terms of the workshop coming up. I definitely want to be talking to you guys about niching down and building successful campaigns, because I feel like I have a background in social media marketing and content creating, and I think a lot of us might have some problems with reaching out to brands sometimes, and it's not as daunting as it may seem. So it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about.
Okay, awesome. Jhunelle.
Yes, J comes after A in the sequence, I guess. Hello. Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm Jhunelle Jureidini from simplylocal.life. That's a travel blog, mostly centered in and around Jamaican culture, lifestyle, things to do, places to go. In the last few months, it has expanded beyond the shores of Jamaica, but right now it is mainly focused on Jamaica, and I hope it will continue to go further. But yeah, that's me. And I've been doing
Okay,
this for what, 4 years now? So yeah.
awesome. Lisa.
Yes, yes. Hello, guys. My name is Lisa-Gaye Shakespeare, and as Kadia loves to call me, Lisa-Gaye. I'm a travel influencer, and I have my own company called Shakespeare Agency, where I partner with travel and tourism brands. I share travel experiences across the Caribbean. Mostly, you will see other countries because I love traveling on my page, but it's mostly the Caribbean that I'm focusing on. And I also plan vacations for people who are just too busy to plan their own vacations and just want to show up and have a good time.
Okay, awesome. And guys, Monique asked the question. Monique, what was the question you asked them about first job?
Oh, so I wanted to know if you guys remember what was your first paid job and what did you do? And I'm gonna add a little extra part here, the whipped cream and the cherry on top.
How much money
Did you get paid? if it is, but we wanna know. Your first paid job.
Start with Ashley again.
No, man, we're going the reverse. Coming from somebody who names start with M. Yeah, can you know?
All right.
Yeah.
So my first job was actually here in the US, not in Jamaica, because I left Jamaica when I was 16 and mommy never met me work. So I worked when I came here, and that was in college. And I worked at the post office, just putting letters into the students' mailbox. And that was it. I was on my feet for almost all the shift, and I got paid $6 an hour.
Oh, wow. Jhunelle, what was your first paid job?
My first official paid job, because I had a little hustle. I made CDs for people. Back when LimeWire and Kaza was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my
giving away your
first
age, Jhunelle, but
Right?
Yeah.
Listen.
So it goes sometimes, but yeah, my first official paid job, I was a office clerk at an electronic business. So, sorting files and doing invoices, those kind of things. It was mainly to pay for Independence weekend parties. That's how I started working. I wanted to go.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I honestly don't remember what the pay was. I really don't.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I take the LimeWire CD burning as the first job though.
Ashley, you ready to jump back on, Ashley?
Yeah, did we lose Ashley?
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
There we
Ashley,
go.
what was your first job and how much was it?
First of all, I don't remember how much it was, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it was at an insurance company, a permanent insurance company. I think I was doing like some filing related stuff.
Yeah, so all of us, yeah.
Everybody turned secretary.
Yes.
But there was, the common thread was, there was a reason why all of us started, look a job here and there, whether it was a summer job or whatever, it's because you wanted to make money. And that's the point of this entire thing. I think somebody's fan is making a funny sound in the background.
Or it sounds like
I hear it.
Yeah.
I hear it. There's some feedback.
Yeah.
Okay. Seems to be gone now.
Yeah. Okay. So the point of all of this, guys, is to make money. If you're going to invest a lot of time into creating content and putting content out there, it must be for some economic reason, because it's not cheap. It's not cheap. It's not easy to do. So, guys, let's go right into it now. So there's a difference. There are categories of brands, and I'm trying very hard not to use the word influencer. Actually, I think the sound is coming from you,
Yeah. I think it's actually.
I'm wondering because I just.
Is that fan you have on?
I turned it completely down, so I'm not sure.
It's probably, if you have earphones, that probably helps. It might be feedback.
Yeah.
If you put in earphones or earbuds.
Okay. So, guys, we know that there are categories of brands. So you have nano, you have micro, you have small, whatever. Lisa, on our monetization webinar, you gave a really succinct definition of what all these categories are. You explain them really well. Can you go again for us and explain to us the difference between what we mean by nano, micro, and small?
Yeah, well, so for me, you kind of confused me a little bit with when you threw in the small, because the small is kind of like, I mean,
Well, it was my way of, because it's so it's confusing in that you have the nano, which is between a number and a number,
yeah.
micro between a number and a number, but then you have this odd number there before you reach to like mega and gazillion. You know what I mean?
Oh, like a
So that's kind of
mystery.
what I was, yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, what was
So like the three first ones before you get to the 500,000 and then
yeah.
over a million. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, honestly, what it really and truly what this kind of boils down to is it's all about the numbers, which I don't really like paying attention to numbers per
Yeah.
se. But basically what social media determines as nano influencers are those people who have less than 10,000 followers. And I think those people are like the hottest on the market right now
We're
because
gonna talk about that.
oh, okay. All right.
We're
So
gonna talk
don't go
about
into
that.
anything. Okay. All
Don't
right.
go into that yet. Just
Gotcha.
give us the
Just wanted me.
numbers.
Okay. And then the micro influencers are those who are between like 10,000 to around 50,000 followers, and that's where I fall into the bracket. Then you have what's called like mid-tier followers who are 100,000 and up to maybe like a 500,000. Then you have your mega
Mega.
Yeah.
mega influencers, and those people are like your celebrities basically,
Million.
millions, and the TikTok people and all these like who have like millions of followers.
Right.
Yeah.
So I will say that because we do understand that we don't, we talk about, oh, we don't like numbers, but numbers are important as part of a bigger data point,
Mhm.
if you understand what I mean. So we're not just looking at numbers, but we're also looking at the quality of your community engagements and all that stuff.
Yes,
But the
I like
first
numbers.
the
It comes
first
down to
most
analytics.
visible thing is the numbers.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's be fair, that's the first most visible thing, right?
Right.
And depending on the number of followers you have as a brand, that can determine other things for you too. But Lisa-Gaye said it just now. She said that nano influencers and micro influencers tend to be
Is
carrying
where
the
it's at.
street these days because of the versatility of what they can do and the spaces that they can get into,
Occupy.
right, that they can occupy, and the engagement.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
Because
engagement.
science, really, because the more followers you have is the less likely you are to be able to engage with all of them, so the engagement is going to drop off,
The
right?
engagement rate.
The
And the
engagement rate
trust
is going to fall off.
factor with the brand is not as the trust factor just drops because brands just
Because
now
not
are
many people.
that you're gonna just be doing it just because. But if you have a targeted audience, a niched audience, then brands favor that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because now you have the ears and the eyes of very particular groups of people, and I may be wanting to get through to that particular group of people.
And the
Okay,
trust.
and there you go. So guys, how do you become visible to brands online? This is important. Yesterday I came across a YouTube video, a YouTube, I don't know if you guys know
Channel?
no, not channel, I, a video on YouTube. And it was talking about this girl named Grace Wells, and I tweeted about it yesterday, and it was a video from Now This. You guys know Now This News?
Yes.
Okay, so Now This News was talking about a girl by the name of Grace Wells. Grace Wells wants to make commercials, okay? And she was just starting out. She was fresh out. In fact, she was still in college. And she's like, okay, how do I become visible to the people who I want to work with? So she started making fake commercials using just random objects in and around her home. And she posted those fake commercials to TikTok. Well, today my girl is working with Olay, and I mean some big US brands because they noticed her on TikTok and her commercials. So that's one way. If you are a new brand or a small brand who wants to become visible, one way is to use social media as a portfolio. to create content that showcases the work that you can do or your talents in a particular way, post it to your social media platforms. But then the thing with Grace is she was very particular about the kind of commercial she wants to make. So she made very particular kind of work for her portfolio. So I know that Lisa-Gaye, you're very much, in fact, all of you guys are travel. Ashley is back. I know all you guys are travel related, which again, guys, was a coincidence. But even though all you guys are travel, you're very
It's
different
different.
segments of the travel market, which is interesting in and of itself. So, Jhunelle, let's start with you. Let's talk about something is going on with Ashley. Let's talk about your particular brand of travel content. You're very much localized.
Very much localized.
Tell us about that.
Okay. It started with rivers because that's my go-to place, and then it expanded to other places to swim. It expanded to places to stay, restaurants, etc., till it expanded beyond Jamaica. But for the most part, I would say my niche should be affordable travel in Jamaica. By affordable, I mean free to you can go once every 6 months. There's a
Yeah.
range, but
Yeah.
for a
So
weekend trip, that's
use
good.
a dryland tourists.
Dryland
Travel
tourist.
Yes, because I
Dryland
remember.
tourist.
So guys, Jhunelle was our people to watch back in 2019.
So
And
Yes.
long
I
ago.
remember that was a conversation we had on the blog. Literally, Jhunelle was one of the only persons I knew at the time who
Yeah.
was literally paying attention to what was happening on the island. And what made Jhunelle different was that she was not working with big brands that we all know. You can depend on Jhunelle to come with somebody that you've never heard about before,
Some piece
And
of
somebody
then you wonder how
bush.
you
that
never hear
you've
about
never
them
heard
before.
about before, and you're going, which part is that? But you
Uh-huh.
still right. So that is what made you different. So tell us about how did you seek them out? Did they seek you out? How did that get started?
Well, it's a little bit of both. To be honest, the first brands I worked with, the first three brands, they reached out to me. So at this point, blogging was still just a hobby, just me going out on the weekend, enjoying myself and sharing my experience. And I was surprised because brands started reaching out to me, say, hey, can you come to my place and showcase it on your website? I'm like, sure. Didn't even think to reach out to people. And this is when my audience, my whole audience, not just Instagram, not just Facebook, was less than 1,000 subscribers or 1,000 visitors. So I was very surprised. And that really gave me the push to start reaching out to people because I realized, okay, people are recognizing what I'm doing and
Yeah.
appreciating it. So, hey, why not?
Okay. Let's not underestimate the value of your community in that respect, because
Definitely.
with less than 1K followers and people are hearing about this, it means that your community is really sharing your content. And this is why
Yes.
community such, guys, when we're talking about how to get noticed, how to push your brand, how to become visible, you can't do none of that without your community. You
Yeah.
cannot
You
Yeah.
never
you
know who is
cannot
watching.
do any of this without your community, because your community can exponentially expand the reach.
Oh,
Antipath is going to kill me more. Exponentially expand your reach way further than you could by yourself. So
Yeah.
definitely with your community. Lisa-Gaye, what about you? Monique, you
Yeah.
want to say something?
So
Yeah, I was just before you go, Lisa-Gaye, I was just saying, even in terms of Jhunelle saying that her audience was small at that point in time, but as a restaurateur, as a hotelier, like if five, if 10 of that less than 1,000 people, if 100, if 5%, 10% of that same community patronized or learned about them for the first time and then supported in some way, shape, or form, whether it's sharing the video, whether it is get attraction or excitement around this particular thing, this is a group of persons who every single one of them interested in what you're posting.
Yeah.
So there's a concentration of efforts, and I think that's one of the major points as we talk about micro and niche and nano and tiny brands, the kind of impact and weight that they pull because people care. And I'm following you because I really care, not just because you're big.
Yeah, I like you as a person. I connect or relate to you in a particular way. Like,
Your
and that's
style
a
and
value
what you're
that, yeah,
sharing.
yeah.
Exactly.
So Lisa, what about you? What made you go into, because Lisa, I'm gonna find one clip on YouTube.
Oh my God.
Hey.
Was it
Hey,
NBC?
hey.
Was
Stop.
it NBC? I never know. Say Lisa was big NBC reporter.
Hey.
Well, I can't believe you found that. That's so funny. So my background is in journalism. Like I moved to the US to go to school to study broadcast journalism because I wanted to be a reporter and be a news anchor and all these things. And lo and behold, once I was in the field of it, I realized I did not like it at all. Like I hated the hours, I hated being on the road, I hated being a one-man band and shooting, and I didn't like news. I never want to report pan traffic, I never want to talk about somebody down the road with teeth. So, like, no, it was just not, oh gosh. So that was short-lived. Mother nearly have a fit. But
Yeah, me that have a fit too after I pay for that college
Eh.
4-year university education in the US of A, and a UE $300,000, a $50,000. Them a ask me to pay US dollar every
US
year
dollars.
for 4 years.
So
Yeah,
you switched. So you
but
made
not
the
the first
switch.
time. So I switched.
But you see, money, the degree still
Yes.
came in handy, didn't it?
Exactly.
Tell them, Lisa.
I was just about to say that. So I literally switched. Well, not at the time to travel though. I switched into working with international students because I was an international student when I first came here, and I just had a passion for it. And I was working in the university when I was in college, so I got a job in that field, and that propelled me into recruiting students internationally. So I started traveling with my department at the university I was working for to recruit students in Europe and in Latin America. And that's where my love for travel just kind of like developed. Like, hold on, I love
Took
this.
off.
Yeah. So I was with that company for 7 years, and towards the end, I really just wanted to transition into travel full time, but I didn't know how to do it. Then I saw somebody sent me a competition. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Cancun CEO, where Cancun in Mexico was looking for an ambassador to move to Cancun for like a year, all expenses paid, and they would pay them like $70,000, and you would go around Mexico and work for different hotels, blah blah blah, whatever. I applied. I made it all the way to almost the top 50, and then I didn't make it to top 10. But through that, I had to do a lot on social media. Like I had to do videos, I had to do posts, I had to do stories, I had to engage with the audience. Like I literally started building out my brand on that. And man, it just drummed up a whole I received so many followers from this because it was a big competition, and you had to get people to vote for you and all these things.
Oh, interesting.
That's when I started kind of really getting to have an audience per se. And then when I didn't make it to the next round, I was like, I really love this. So I created my YouTube channel, and I was just like, I'm gonna still just do travel because I like it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For the next,
Like, why not?
While I was still working with the company doing recruiting, I would take vacation and then do my own travel stuff. But vacation, you only have so much days, and it just started really getting to me. I'm like, man, I have to go back to work.
Exactly. That's actually why I started traveling Jamaica, because I went abroad for the first time in I think 3 years at the time, and I came back after maybe a week, and I was like, I don't want to just do this like twice a year, 3 times a year. So I said, all right, people spend money to come Jamaica every year. Why me can't do that too for cheaper?
Yeah.
And that is actually how I started. I didn't want to just limit myself.
And I just started filming my stuff for YouTube, documenting it on social media, just talking about my travels for fun and just giving people tips, advice. Oh, if you go here, make sure, you visit these 3 places. And then how I worked in brands is actually someone reached out to me. It was a follower, and they were like, this company is looking for someone to go and stay there for a couple of days and to blog about it. And I'm like, oh sure, I'll go. And I just
Like,
reached
why
out to
not?
them. And yeah, but I reached out to them and I was like, I hear that you guys are looking for someone. I can do XYZ. Here's my YouTube channel. Here's my socials. And then I worked with them. And from there, it just kind of slowly started developing. Back then, I wasn't monetizing, though. It was just me, hey, I'll just take a free stay and I'll just do this for you until eventually I started slowly moving into monetizing.
And I'm glad, Ashley, are you ready to jump back on? I think there may be an issue with Safari. If you can try Chrome.
Firefox or Chrome.
Or Firefox or Chrome browser, it should be fine. All right. Ashley? All right. So, Ashley, you're back. Hopefully for good this time. So, Ashley, we were talking about how you become visible to brands online, and Jhunelle and Lisa-Gaye shared with us how they got started online building their brands. So, what about you? How did you get started online building your brand?
Well, it all started in COVID, but I think after realizing that a lot of people were enjoying my content that I was putting out when I was, enjoying the island during COVID, I kind of decided to kind of, niche down in that because I didn't before. It was never a focus for me. Mm-hmm. And after niching down, it definitely, whenever, people might agree or not, but I think whenever you niche down at least to, a couple different, wait a second now, is genre right word, of like what you do online, then it's easier for a brand to see how you can connect with them because then, it would make sense. So I definitely think doing that was very helpful for me. And then because of that, I also grew a community that were interested in those particular things, which was my lifestyle and travel, and then with that, even though you're a small creator, reaching out to brands yourself is always a plus to put yourself out there. And it's something that I've done. And in turn, the more work you do with brands, the more other brands will notice you and try to reach out as well. So I think that's really the road that I've gone for myself. And it's definitely one that will work. And we can talk about it more in the workshop.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm glad you landed on that. And Lisa talked about, when she started monetizing, because the next thing I want to get into is how do you know when to start monetizing your brand? So for Jhunelle, it's different because they reached out to you and they were like, girl, right? But if you could give the audience some advice as to how do you know when your brand is ready for monetization? What are some of the metrics you can look at, or what are some of the indicators that will tell you that your brand is mature enough to start monetizing?
Starting with me?
When people
okay. Lisa, what you say when people start what?
When people start telling you, oh my God, this is great information, I wouldn't have known this, or oh my God, I actually looked at your website, or I look at your social that I'm going here. But when you literally start influencing people, that's when you know, because you have something that people are looking at that brands want. So if someone is watching your YouTube video and they're like, I'm going to go here because, man, this look good and you convinced me, then you have something. It's very simple.
That's fair.
Very true. So again, it's your audience. Your audience dictates when you're ready to monetize.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Jhunelle, you were saying something?
Yeah, that's a hard question. Because what a lot of people have to realize, monetization requires a different level of commitment. So when you're monetizing, you're required to deliver. You're required to show metrics in terms of leads, conversions, impressions, those kind of things. You're required to communicate with brands so you're on the same page and you both know what you're getting into. I think you should monetize when it feels less like just a hobby and more like work. Not work like a chore, but when you're actually trying to push something out there, something valuable. because for me, it turned from hobby to work real quick. As much as I enjoy it, it's still work.
Yeah.
And when you
Yeah.
realize, yo, this takes a lot of time, this is taking a lot of money for me to produce at this point, then you can say, all right, I feel like I should get some returns from this.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
People, a lot of think times too. A lot of people think bloggers
Me?
don't do anything. Like you're just,
Yes.
oh, yeah, you're right. You know, you go
Not
somewhere.
where he is right now, but I'm still
Monique,
on.
Monique.
Can you close?
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead, Lisa.
No, I was just saying that, she's absolutely right because it is work. It takes a lot of time and effort, and you should be getting paid for that time and effort that you're putting in because people sometimes just are under the impression that, oh, you just take pretty pictures and post it, or you just write
Yeah.
blogs and add pictures and that's it. Well,
Not
it
true.
takes time to do that. So once you realize you're spending a lot of time on this, then yeah, you definitely should be monetizing.
For sure.
Ashley?
No, I agree. I definitely agree because it's definitely those two things. I think when you realize that people are genuinely interested in whatever it is that you're doing, and you're like, wait, but then people that make money off of me, and I don't
And you're not getting nothing.
understand. I definitely think you can be like, okay, maybe I should reach out to this person because it could be something that you already use and your audience is definitely interested in it, and you're like, okay, maybe I should make some money from something that I already use and have influenced people to use. I think that's when you really have to start thinking about it for sure.
Okay. Okay. So Lisa, you said you should start monetizing when?
Once you realize that you have influence on your audience, when
So
people
Lisa
are
says you can't monetize if you don't influence anybody to do nothing. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
Jhunelle,
Reality
shots
check.
fired.
Reality
Jhunelle
check.
said when you are investing a lot of time and effort into producing something of a particular
Quality.
value or quality,
Yeah.
that's when you
Correct.
should start getting some returns for your work, because as I said earlier, producing content is not easy. Okay. And Ashley said, well, if I'm going to be talking about your stuff and people going to be buying it, then you need to pay me. Right? Okay. So
Give him my money.
yeah, and all of this again, and I guess it's similar to what Lisa said. You have to have some level of influence or sway over your community for them to be able, for you to show a potential partner or brand partner that there is, and Jhunelle said earlier, that you have an ability to convert leads, to
Right.
generate leads and to convert those leads, right?
Mhm.
So all of these things, all of this come together. And so I'm saying you don't have to be an influencer. Some people don't like to call themselves an influencer because it's whatever the problem
Yeah.
people have with influencer. You don't have to call yourself an influencer if you don't want to call yourself an influencer. It's fine.
Yeah.
But if you are creating content and putting content out there and people are benefiting from your content in some way, then that's influence. And that
Yes.
influence can then be monetized. Earlier, Money, when we were describing what we meant by the creator economy, we
Yeah.
said that it was your ability to leverage your digital brand to earn money. But what we really mean is leverage your community
Yeah.
that has been attracted by your brand, the
Mhm.
community that your brand attracts. That is what you're actually leveraging, and that's where you can make money from. So moving along. So we
I
know,
think
guys.
before we go on, kids, I think a part of the reason even why that phrasing went that way is so that it becomes a kind of all-encompassing, including people, for example, who create content within companies, who generate and develop these things. So I think there's another way to kind of look at it. Lots of the time we only think in terms of traditional careers and now their introduction of some additional elements like influencer or whatever, but there's also a whole space called a content creator. maybe it's not my brand or the brand of Monique, but I can create some really cool aesthetics, my product shots when I put stuff together. I have a
Yeah.
creative eye and I like this sort of campaign or whatever. There is a space for you, even if that is your spiel. And you can get clients and people to pay you to create content that they want to share on their pages because they love it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Um,
So, yes, Kay.
so we know too that there are direct ways that you can
Yeah.
make money as a small brand, and there are indirect ways you can make money as a small brand. So let's talk about some direct ways first. And I'm going to start with Jhunelle, because Jhunelle, you legit left your 9 to 5 and go, screw this. Simply local life to me thing. Yeah. So, and that
I never
was
turned back.
never turn back.
Four
And
Haven't
years
turned back.
ago.
yeah, right. And I think what you've
Yes.
engaged on first is a lot of very direct monetization strategies. So let's
Yes.
talk about, how do you actually make money uh, through Simply Local Life? What are some direct ways you have monetized your blog?
Okay. All right. First, let me do a little correction. I didn't leave the 95 in order,
Okay, okay.
but I was already making occasional money from Simply Local Life at the time, and I left my job earlier than I expected to. And I said, well, let's see where this goes. And 2.5 years later, we're still seeing where this goes. So, hey. But my direct way of making money, in long and short, is writing and marketing.
Yeah.
So the most common way is brands, venues, businesses will ask me to come visit their place or come try their product. They will give me a complimentary service, stay, product, etc., plus money on top of that, because I have to take pictures. Sometimes I have to do videos. I have to write. I have to do
When you
search
know
engine.
complimentary food in
Exactly.
exchange for nothing.
Yes. We have to
Yes.
do search engine optimization, which we'll talk about in the workshop, for passive traffic so people can find what I write today, 5 years from now. Um, that is my most common way. Other ways, directly, sometimes I will get from my blog, people will like my pictures. So instead of a blog article, they will ask me to come do a photography only job or a video only job, because I also showcase those productions on simplylocal.life. So my most direct way is partnering with brands, and I also do freelance writing. So I will write for other websites and magazines, etc., and they will pay me to do so.
Like Travel Noir.
I didn't write for them. I was featured on it,
You're
but I didn't
featured
write
in
for
those.
them. Yes, but I've
Okay.
written for like Caribbean Elite magazine, Jamaica So Nice, Jamaica Tourist Board. I've written for quite a few.
Talk to her
Yeah.
nice.
Talk
Okay.
to me nice.
Right. So as a blogger, these are some of the ways, right, that you can make money. Do you do any affiliate marketing on the blog?
Yes, but that's more an indirect way. It's not my main thing,
Main
but
thing.
yes, I do it, and I do make passive income from
Passive
that as
income
well.
from. And
Yes.
guys, we're gonna tell you what we're, if you come to the workshop, you'll know what we're talking about. We're talking about passive
Mm-hmm.
income. Okay.
Yeah.
We're not
Yes.
giving away
And
everything here so
affiliate
for
links
free.
and
So we
yeah.
say get paid for your content. So you have
Uh-huh.
to
Yeah.
come to the workshop to know what we're talking about. We're talking about passive income.
Yes. This is
Okay,
a sneak
Lisa.
peek.
Yes. So Lisa, what are some direct ways that you have monetized your brand?
So for me, it's definitely my main thing is creating content for brands. And whether that's a hotel, a tour company, tourism board. That's the way that I do it through Instagram and my blog as well. I also do coaching. So before I niched down just to travel, I used to do social media marketing for small businesses. I no longer do that, but I have a program where it's going to be for travel influencers, and it's going to be coaching. So coaching is a good way it's kind of like your holy grail in a sense. You're a consultant to consult on other people and offering advice and helping them with their business strategies, whether it's, they're trying to go into blogging or being an influencer, or even if you're just trying to be a food photographer, whatever the strategies are like that. So there's coaching. And then there's also PDFs, downloadable PDFs, like how-tos. I find that, and that's going to be also part of passive income, but
that is passive income. That's indirect. Yeah.
Yes.
Money. So I have those for my travel itineraries that are coming soon that I'll be having on my website. So that's going to be one in there. And I also sell photos on like Shutterstock or like, what is it? Getty. And anybody can do this, guys. Getty Images.
Yeah.
Literally,
I've been thinking about that actually.
Photos. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Really good photos. Upload it, and then whenever it gets downloaded, you get a little, small change.
A little something.
So guys,
But
Lisa
better than
just
nothing.
gave you direct and indirect ways to earn money from your brand. But I didn't know that Shutterstock one is, And let me tell you why that one is so cute too.
Right.
Because they're always looking for Black people, because these stock images really have
They're so white.
images of Black people.
There's one specifically for us, y'all. It's called Nappy.
I know Nappy.
Nappy. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that one. I know that one. So that's cool. That's cool. Actually,
And also Amazon.
Amazon website.
Affiliate.
Amazon affiliate program.
Yes. That would be affiliate and referrals.
Yeah. So you can have your own Amazon kind of storefront in a sense. Because I buy products from Amazon all the time, and people are like, "Oh, where did you get this? Where did you get that?" And I send them to Amazon. But if you can now have your own storefront where if you send someone to Amazon to get in, they purchase it, you get
a percentage.
of that sale.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant by affiliates a little earlier. That's one of the affiliates.
One of the affiliates. So you find, guys, that YouTubers and content creators, what they do is in their description, you'll see where they say camera, and they will describe the camera, and they'll put the link to where you can go and get the camera. Chances are they're getting some kind of percentage, or this is some kind of affiliate, right, from that. So they will tell you all the equipment that they use, and then they'll give you the link where you can go and purchase it. And some of them will tell you that if you purchase, they're going to get some kind of affiliate monies from that. So guys, that's an indirect way to make money. And what persons don't understand sometimes is that it's not always about selling the brand, it's also selling the process of how you build the brand. So we're going to talk about that. Ashley, how about you?
Well, I'm just how like when Megan win her bronze, she's like, I'm just happy to be here. That's me.
I love it.
In my first year of doing this, I think I've done pretty well for myself, and most of my monetization has been through brand partnerships.
So, that's direct monetization.
Direct monetization. The thing is, I did consider doing affiliate, especially with Airbnb at one point, because I was doing so much under that. But then they stopped the program, because COVID. But that's definitely how I do my monetization right now, and with content creation for brands. So in a not necessarily where I'm posting on my page, but they're using me to post or to generate some traffic to their brand.
Yeah. Okay, so you're mostly, direct monetization.
Direct.
Yeah. So guys, when we talk about direct monetization, just to give you a little clearer idea of what we mean, when we say direct monetization, we're talking about using your actual brand to earn money. So for instance, Ashley is a travel content creator. So a brand will come to her and say, hey, come to my hotel or wherever, and Ashley will go, Ashley will create content, put content out on her platform, and she gets paid to do that. That's what she does. That's what her brand does. But if at any point Ashley go, okay, let's do some affiliate marketing. Let me start talking about swimsuits. I don't know. I'm thinking here.
Yeah.
So if a swimsuit brand, because I've seen more of Ashley's titties than any other part of Ashley's profile pictures. Okay, Ashley
Woo!
is always in a swimsuit.
Yes.
Ashley and Lisa
Yes.
We love to see it.
are always in swimsuit. Okay, so if
Yes,
a
yes,
swimsuit
see.
brand,
That
I mean,
swimsuit illustrated for just
exactly. If a swimsuit brand should come to either Ashley and Lisa and go, "Hey, ladies, you look fantastic in your bathing suits." Okay, how about I sponsor you a bathing suit and you talk? That's a direct brand. That's a direct brand sponsorship. But if Ashley said, "Listen, guys, this is where I get my swimsuit or whatever. If you click on this link and go buy the swimsuit, I get a percentage." That may be an indirect way that Ashley is also make money. Suppose Ashley wears a particular kind of makeup and she said you go buy the makeup, she may be able to do some affiliate marketing to that. So affiliate marketing, guys, is one indirect way you can make money. Lisa talked about PDFs. Lisa, Ashley, or Jhunelle can create a 1-2 strategy. In 10 steps you can become a professional blogger, or in 10 steps you can become a travel content creator. This is how download my PDF. It may be on a paywall where you have to pay for it, or it may be a free PDF in exchange for your email. Because as content creators, as influencers, brands, whatever, the biggest money is in your email
Your
list.
email list. Yep.
Yeah, having an email list is actually where you can convert your leads to sales, and that is something that potential brand partners are going to be interested in. So they create these PDFs, or what we call lead magnets, to attract people to their brand, to get their email addresses, and that way they can start a more intimate dialogue with that group of people. And that's where the actual selling happens. You will not find any sale going on either one of these ladies' pages. You will not see them say 50% giveaway off. You will not see that. Okay,
I like
but
to tell
when
people too that we don't own social media. Instagram
Exactly.
can disappear tomorrow. Facebook can
Yeah.
crash tomorrow and never
As
come.
it has.
All these things, we don't own them, but your email list is yours, right?
Mhm.
Like, you
And your websites.
and
your
the website, that's the ticket.
download it, and you can funnel all of your stuff there without worry. So
Sales funnels, right?
Yeah.
So when I get very up in arms sometimes. I hear people talk about influencers. Like, it's a lot of work that goes into being an influencer. This is actually a business, but we're not going to get into that. So guys, these are some of the ways that you make money. Another way that I say successful brands make money, small brands, is by selling the process. And what do I mean by selling the process, Monique? I mean that if Monique and I come up with a way of making $5,000 on anything, we can then turn around and say, guys, buy our strategy to make $5,000 on this thing. Yeah. So we sell the process of becoming an influencer, sell the process of becoming it, sell the process. I literally sell you my strategy or my plan or my blueprint or whatever. You guys have to be careful of some of these though, because some of these people are scammers. But people actually sell their strategy and their process as well. So guys, there is endless amount of ways you can actually make money directly and indirectly as a small brand. And guys, so let's move on to the boot camp that is coming up now, because we want to give people an idea of some of the things that we'll actually be talking about at the boot camp. So Jhunelle, you're joining the boot camp and you're going to be talking to us about blogging. Is blogging still a thing in 2021?
It is definitely still a thing. And I actually had this conversation with a US partner that just came on board last week. They have an e-commerce site. Yeah, they have an e-commerce website and they want me to blog for them, because e-commerce sites, when you blog, that actually builds their search engine rankings.
Yeah.
Because, the more you update and the more you change your sites, that helps with search engine optimization, again, which we will talk about in the workshop. But blogging for businesses, it gets people to your website, it gets eyes on your product, it shares information, it generates interest, and it gives you a lot of passive income.
A lot of passive income for real. And you know, Jhunelle talked about SEO and she talked about evergreen content.
Yes,
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 creating
yes.
content that 5 years from now is still going to be
People will still read and it
relevant.
still be relevant.
Yes,
Yes,
so there is
yes.
an actual strategy to making a blog profitable. You have to increase the amount of visitors to your
Mm-hmm.
blog per month. You're going to talk about bounce rate and all these things. So you
Yes.
understand what these terms mean and what are the, because the analytics for a blog is going to be different from the analytics for, say, a podcast or your social media
Mm-hmm.
analytics.
Yes.
Jhunelle is also very good at directed traffic from social media to the blog, and you're going to be talking about that as well.
Yes, definitely.
So,
Definitely. And
right,
also
because
another indirect way that we didn't mention is ads on your website or ads on the blog. So ads are really my blog currency. So when people come on my site to read a blog article and they see ads from Google or whatever that are automatically placed on the site, the impressions and the clicks gets me passive income as well. So yeah,
there
there's
you
definitely
go.
a lot in
There you
store.
go.
There
There
you
you go.
go.
All right. So if you guys are interested in hearing Jhunelle talk about blogging and how to make money as a blogger, direct and indirect ways to make money as a blogger, how to get traffic to your website, whether through social media or from search engines like Google,
Hmm.
using white hat SEO strategies.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
you're gonna have to come to the workshop to hear about that. Over to you, Lisa. Lisa, what are you going to be talking about at the workshop?
So I'm going to be walking you guys through the fundamentals of a digital partnership. That's going to include, how to research them, how to target them, and just basically, how to court your ideal brand partner online. I'm going to talk about developing and calculating brand value, negotiating your rates based on your industry, relationship building, the fee structure, all of that,
All of that good stuff.
all of that good stuff.
So
Yeah.
and I think Ashley was the one who said it, that as a small brand, there's actually nothing wrong with you reaching out to the people that you actually want to work with and say, hey, see me out. But
Hmm.
before you can do that, you have to have something to show them, so it makes sense for them to want to work with your brand, and that's where the brand value comes in. So what Lisa-Gaye is going to be doing is she's going to be talking to you about how do you calculate the value of your brand. You might think, well, we just have 500 followers, but that's not where the value is, right?
Ends.
It's it's
Yes.
it's it's
Yeah.
it's, an amalgamation of things. So Lisa is going to talk to you about that, and now we say we don't do free food. These trainings. No, there are in-kind payments that you can accept that is not necessarily cash. That would make sense for your brand. It's not free food and it's not free space. We don't believe in that. Okay. And also Lisa is going to be talking about, once you know what your brand value is, how do you then calculate your rates? Because these two things are interrelated. So we're going to talk about that with Lisa. Ashley, and what are you going to be talking about at the workshop?
I will definitely be talking to you guys about niching down. I think the niching down part is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what that is, it's basically just deciding where you are in the content creation, or it could be a business
Yeah.
or influencer side of things online. Just where you are online, what your brand will be saying, what's your brand voice, things like that. Deciding. Um, and also building out campaigns and successful campaigns, because there's one thing to be able to write one, but it's another thing to be able to write one that will actually be beneficial for both you and the brand.
Yeah.
If you should have the opportunity to work with some. So that's definitely what we're going to be talking about, and it should definitely be a good conversation, an interesting one.
For
you
sure, for
know
sure. Because Ashley, I know that you have actually built out an entire system in terms of how you
yes,
develop your
yes, yes,
campaigns
I
and stuff.
have.
Yeah, very meticulous systems. As I said, which is why I said, guys, creating content is not
It's not
easy.
easy.
It's not easy.
And that's why niching is so important, because Once you niche and you identify yourself within a particular space, and you build a community within that space, and you have influence over that community in that space, then you are more attractive to a brand who wants to reach the same audience you have some level of relationship with. And you act as kind of like a gatekeeper to to that audience, and you literally can give them access to that audience, and that is what they're paying you for. One indirect way that we didn't mention, Monique, is merch.
Oh yes.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
yeah,
you can
well, we kind of
actually
mentioned it and talked about it earlier when we were talking about the general kind of community, but especially with persons who have successfully built their community, it's a great way to engage people, to be able to own it for themselves too, and to for them to almost become your ambassadors. We do it for Tommy Hilfiger, we do it for Abercrombie, can't pronounce name, and
Abercrombie and
Finch. Yeah, and we do it for Aeropostale, why we can't do it for Ashley Carla, and why we can't do it for Bootleg Rockstar, and for Quiet Perry, both persons who launched their own merch lines for their communities as Jamaican creators.
Yeah, awesome stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, guys, we're not this is not guesswork. We know it's possible, it has been done. Small brands. Monique, what's the name of Monique, your friend who did the campaign with Clarks? What's her name?
Christia?
You're talking about you're talking about
Christia
Franklin.
Who she's a small brand, she's a small
my
influencer.
repeat offender.
She's a small influencer, and she was able to cop a covetable brand partnership with Clarks. And this is during the same time Clarks was doing a brand partnership with Coffee and what's his face?
They did it with New Wave as well.
And Natasha Leeds.
And what's his name? The other reggae.
Protege?
Yeah.
No. What's his name, man?
They released a Jamaican Chronics. There was Chronics, but it also kind of coincides with the whole entire campaign. It was a part of a whole campaign, since they were releasing a Jamaican line, of Clarks. Raheem Sterling, who is Jamaican. Jamaican, and he plays for England, and
so it was a slew of Jamaicans. But my thing is, look at the caliber of people they were working with. They were working with international artists, big football players, but there were also small influencers who were part of the campaign. And that's what we're saying. It's not a guess. We're not guessing. We're not telling you something where, highfalutin. We're telling you things that is possible, and we're showing you people who have done it, who can do it, and who is doing it for a living and making a very good living too. Mind you, doing it. And I see Pink Peach in the chat. Shout out to Pink Peach, because if I want to know where to go eat, I'm going to what's new on the menu. Straight. Literally, if I want to know where to go and eat some food, I'm going to go to what's new on the menu. So I can find out where to eat and what to eat and all the food tastes. And she's very honest. I thought the review that she gave about the Jamaican cup soup brand was hilarious, but quite on brand. So guys, that's what you can expect as a participant in the workshop. But guys, I know you guys have things coming up. Lisa, let's start with you. You did a whole rebranding recently, right? And Lisa is going to be doing what Ashley's going to teach you how to do, which is niching down. So Lisa, you've rebranded and relaunched your new niche brand. Tell us about that.
Yes. So excited. So I have niched down to focus solely on travel, because I was doing it all before, Lord, and it was just not it. But I did what I had to do during COVID. Anyway, I mean we're still in COVID, but So I
Yeah.
niche down and I offer services for brands who need help creating compelling content and visuals that convert sales and bookings. So locking in those partnership deals, which is what I'll be talking about in the boot camp. And then I'm also offering services for travelers. So these are for people who want to visit the Caribbean, but don't have time to plan their vacation. They're just don't want to deal with it. I can facilitate that. All you have to do is just show up and have a good time. And also a coaching program for aspiring or struggling travel influencers who just need guidance on how to
And the
exactly
one that
build
sound
their
funny
brand.
too. Struggling influence.
Kedia,
Yes, Kenya.
Kedia, you are wicked. You are wicked.
But yeah, so I just coach on how to do brand strategy, partnership, collaboration, content, pitching, media kits, all of that, negotiating fees. Yeah.
Media kits, guys, that is
Yes,
so important.
important.
One of you guys are going to be talking about media kits too. I think, is it you, Lisa? As a part of your
I think it was
workshop?
Lisa.
I
Yeah.
think it's Lisa, yeah.
There.
Because that is a
I-
part of the brand value. Because when you're sending your media kits out to persons, there are certain things that you have to be talking about in there, so it makes sense to them as well. All right,
I
so
think
that's
that. Oh, so sorry, kids. I think that ultimately, what we're communicating or what we're saying is that there are just these multiple aspects or facets that are a part of aligning yourself or putting yourself in the best position
yeah.
in order to command the prices that you want, and in order to earn a sustainable, because
Sustainable is the word.
there's one thing about getting a one bus. Jhunelle talked about 3 different people reaching out or whatever, and especially in the beginning, because I know I was there, girl. I was there with you.
You
Yeah.
were there.
Right? But she had to figure out, how do I make this sustainable? How do I in the off season, when villas and stuff kind of slow down a bit, when these things happen, how do I continue to eat? Because it's not like my body goes on hibernation in your slow period, right? So we're trying to carry persons who may understand, who may already have a brand, even those who are just starting, to put the necessary steps together in order to actually build a business, to build a brand. But on top of that brand or intertwined or whatever, however you want to call it, you have that business structure so that you at least prepare yourself and you aren't because another thing that we probably never even go into a lot of detail today is that you can have numbers and still not have a business. You can have you can be the biggest and influencing and still struggling to monetize. So yes, kid, you're struggling influencers.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 It's really important, and that's a part. Listen, Katie and I sat down and we were like, how can we best serve the community? How can we best serve people with things that in this time of COVID that people can use to actually earn
money?
and I think this is an amazing opportunity for people
creators.
and for people who take it serious, because
for content creators, because it's not easy.
It's not easy, and it's not for the
Nor
faint
quick.
of heart.
It's not for
Nor
the faint of
quick.
heart. It requires
don't
a
come
lot
up.
of work.
Yes,
Not overnight,
it's not overnight, and it requires a lot of consistency, because we
Yeah.
can always look at people in their 3rd and 4th year. We can look at Jhunelle and say, yes, girl, you're gone foreign, and then take pretty picture and travel noir and which magazine, and we can do all that and we can be excited. But who remembers the
Just freeze up.
the times when she couldn't do all of those things? I think I chipped out.
Yeah, she should
Yeah.
get with.
Yes.
Yeah.
So guys,
Yeah.
so that's what this whole boot camp was about. It was about us looking at the fact that there are persons out there who are creating content. How can we help them make money from the content? And as well, we keep getting DMs from people going, okay, so this company reached out to me for me to do 5 million posts and 60
Yeah.
million stories, but they want to give me complimentary burgers. Guys,
Yeah. Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
we've gotten those DMs and we're like, nah,
Yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
doing that. It's
and
points,
and
points,
the
cash.
other part of it is that the market does not know, and so the onus or the burden is on the influencer or the content
know.
creator to know, and two, to have that structure, and three, to be able to communicate in a way to these organizations that makes sense to them and makes sense within their marketing
community.
plan and structure
Yeah.
and their community, them
Because
bottom
you can't
line, them
go
making money,
off,
etc.
because actually community is used to actually doing travel influencing. If all of a sudden Ashley gone off to go do something else without any explanation or whatever,
Tech reviews,
we're going to be looking at her
gadget
like,
reviews,
girl,
you know,
Like,
What's
where
happening?
this come from?
I literally
Yeah.
came here to see cute beach pics.
yeah,
Right, so
to cup you in a
make
bikini.
sure, you have to make sure that you're balancing brand partnerships and the what you're going to have to do to satisfy your client with what you're going to have to do to satisfy your community, because
Audience.
without your community you have no brand.
Yeah.
No brand.
You
okay?
have no,
So
yeah.
there's a
I wanna
balancing
say-
act that you have to. Who was saying something?
It was
Jhunelle.
me, but I thought you were done. Finish. It's okay.
Yeah, but no, man. I'm just saying there's a balancing act that you have to be mindful of.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
just pointing that you can, using the example of Ashley can still do her beach pics and so, but if you're going to gadgets, there has to be some connection,
Something
some
to tie them
transition
together.
there
Mhm.
where your audience will still trust you versus saying, nah man, them just pay for this. She just a say it for, to appease the brand, but I don't really trust her in this realm. There has to be some connection, some transition.
Yeah.
That's where the value is.
For example, if you had like a portable Wi-Fi
Yeah.
thingy,
Yeah,
that can relate to travel because you travel
Yeah.
a long way. You need
exactly.
Travel gadgets.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Ease
exactly.
into
It
it.
has to make
Ease
sense.
into it.
Yeah. It has to make sense. But guys, this is another benefit we have as Jamaicans, in a relatively new market, because the influencer market in Jamaica is relatively new. It's really since COVID. A lot of Jamaican businesses have turned to influencers
Have
to help
started.
them to promote.
And local influencers at that.
Local influencers at that, cause
The foreign influencers
Anyways,
couldn't come in at a time.
true, the foreign people them couldn't travel during COVID. And they couldn't get them free hotel stay. Anyways, so the good thing is that we're not yet jaded by the whole influencer marketing space, because on a more global level, you talk about influencer, people roll them eye because influencers in the States, they're doing some questionable stuff. Okay, people are looking at them funny, but there's still a trust there as it relates to localized influencers, because they have localized audiences. So if Ashley come and I tell me about somewhere, I can look at Ashley and go, girl, I've been there, is rubbish. Boo, don't even try that. So Ashley
Exactly.
knows, so she can't come tell me no bullshit.
This is true.
She knows, Jhunelle knows, say, she can't send me go that restaurant.
Yeah.
Me blaze her if me go there the food rubbish. Right? So there's an awareness that they need to have about their audience, because Jamaican people is
Don't
not
play.
the set of people you want to bullshit.
And we're not very forgiving when we feel like somebody
you
had
want
take
bullshit, Jamaica.
give me a 6 for a 9. We don't take very kindly to that. If you show me a picture and the beach look spotless, the horizon nice, and then when me go a bare rubbish and
And
bush,
that,
the
if
picture
you go at 10 o'clock in the morning, when remember said she took the picture at 6 o'clock in the sunset, and you go 10 o'clock, I expect to see sunset. And so Jamaican people still. That's literally how we
Yeah,
are.
we're wicked.
They're not
We're
going
wicked.
to
Yeah.
recreate the condition. But I'm going to tell you, I can see my sunset picture.
Sunset. Yes.
So
Yeah.
you have to come correct with Jamaican people. We're in a very peculiar market with a very peculiar set of people, and it is actually an advantage. It keeps people in the space honest, right?
Yes.
And it helps businesses because now businesses have to literally step up them game
Yeah.
Yeah.
in order, because again, especially if you're in the travel space, because for a long time them never really pay local people no mind. Yeah, they never really pay no mind. You used to see the Becky and the Joshes them on the beach at Frolic. Yeah, and you go about look at that, must be nice, right? Because it was never about you, right? And now COVID lit them on them clock. All of a sudden, them on the Keisha and the Pinky them. Yeah, because down there, come fake air blow the breeze. Yes. No.
I rest my case.
So, yes.
Yeah.
Audience.
Yeah.
Local influencers giving us something of value there. So guys, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We look forward to the workshop. It's going to be great.
Yep.
Guys, as I said, you can get the bundle, which is 3 days, which means you're actually getting a full day for free. Or you can literally, if you only want to hear from Lisa, you can only come to Lisa's workshop. It's fine. So you can pick and mix the sessions. We are also going to be having a session with an attorney, because one thing we realize is that local creators are not creating contracts and are not covering themselves in terms of what they're asking for, what the client's expectations are, and that is not being documented in a contract, and it is causing problem. Last week we talked about the whole issue with Denique and the photographer. I'm sure all of this could have been fixed if there was a contract in place that's clearly stated what expectations were going to be, and a clause in the contract that states that you have the right to add the work to your portfolio, to submit that work in competitions, etc. There are important clauses that as influencers, as brands who are working with bigger brands, you must have in your contract. Please don't wait on them to send you a contract. Make sure you have your own contract that is customizable depending on the brand that you're working with clear terms and conditions and payments. And because sometimes months later, them still not paying your money. Where if in your contract it said 2 days post this money,
late fees,
but then you can't.
Yes.
Yeah, late fees, and then someday late fees. Late fees make people very prompt.
Pay. Yeah.
Okay.
Facts.
So these are some clauses that you guys need to have. Also, clauses about protecting your intellectual property, because some of you don't understand what happens when you put this content on social media. It's no longer your content. It's now Instagram's content. Or when you put the content on the brand's platform, who owns the content? If you're making the content and you give it to the brand, or the brand posts on their platform, whether their website or whatever, who now owns the content? So we're talking about how do you protect your intellectual property, how you retain certain rights to that property, etc. So, guys, these are important things that you need to know, and we're going to be talking about in the workshop. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you. Can I touch on to your point really quickly, Katie?
Yes, Jhunelle.
What a practice that I've noticed very recently, especially with corporate brands that are hosting competitions to the giveaways, weekend for two, money, etc. They want to submit content like pictures, like videos. A lot of the time, once you post it, even if you don't win, from the end to the contest, whatever you give them is not yours. Them can put it in an ad and you don't get a cent, whether you win, lose, finalist, etc. So a lot of these contracts and terms you also have to read, especially if that's your moneymaker. If you're a photographer, videographer and stuff, you have to know when you enter in those things, your content can be used and you get no compensation.
And
so
that is also
these
true
are
for
important.
our tech creators.
Yes.
That's also true for our tech creators. Guys, I did not give Ashley and Jhunelle an opportunity to plug. What do you guys have coming up that you want our audience to know about?
Oh, Ashley, you go first since me just talk.
Questions like this just feel like they're putting me on the spot. I don't like it. But I know, I mean, I honestly, for the rest of the year, I'm just trying to buckle down in terms of like content wise. There's a lot of things that I'm trying to work through now to kind of get to a point of consistency afterwards. So that's really what I have coming up, just consistent content.
Yeah.
Once I figure
Yeah.
out some nitty-gritties and both on Instagram and YouTube. So that's
Yeah.
really it for me for the rest of the year. I'm just closing out a year to begin 2022, all shiny and new and nice and bare things.
Bare things.
Love
Okay,
Bare
it.
things.
awesome. Janelle,
And
what
yes,
you have coming
Jhunelle.
up?
For me, similar to Ashley, I want to be more consistent. I want to improve my content. I'm somebody who has my hands and my head all over the place. So I plan to do, like Lisa, a website rebrand, make things easier to find and more convenient and more tailored to the user experience at simplylocal.life. Other than that, I've been doing a lot more freelance work. So you see my work on other sites, other magazines, and I'm looking to do PDF like itinerary, ebooks and such, but brain process.
Yeah.
I'm looking to do a lot.
We're looking forward to having more books in the space about these things from local
Yes.
creators. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
important for us to start sharing the knowledge locally. I
Yes.
really look forward to a more academic approach
And I'm
to
also
the
doing more, sorry, international content at Simple Local at Life. I'm
yeah.
working with some overseas partners, so I'm hoping within the
You see
next
the
month
foreign
or two.
trips.
Yeah.
You see the
Yes.
foreign
Yes.
trips, my God. Look, oh my God,
Yes.
I fly
So we're going to see some Simply
out.
International there as well.
What
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yo, yeah.
That's
Evolve,
right. That's
darling,
right.
evolve. I love it.
That's
Evolving.
right. Awesome stuff. And we're always excited to see Jamaican creators evolve out of the space because y'all cheap. I'm talking to y'all
Facts.
Jamaicans. Y'all
Yeah,
Facts.
cheap
let's
and
talk
don't like
facts.
paying for
They
things.
are.
That is
So if it
true.
means that we're going to evolve out of the local market, then boo-hoo, because y'all don't like paying for nothing and ain't nobody got time because JPS. Thank you. So I'm always happy to see local creators go far and go make money. Thank you. Or go into foreign spaces and
Yeah.
earn. No, it's
Yes.
true.
It's
Yeah,
Our
it
true.
is.
local
It is.
market,
It
That is
is.
they're
very
Yeah.
very
true.
spoiled and them love freeness.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No lies
Anyways,
were told.
thank you, ladies, so much for being here. And we look forward to seeing you in workshop, guys, August 13th to 15th. Go to the website, sign up, and
And sign up.
get some knowledge.
Yes. More
Yeah.
than what was
Do
here
it
today.
right.
Way,
A
way,
lot
way,
more.
way,
Yeah.
way more.
A
And
lot
you know,
more.
with Digital Jamaica and this DDA, we don't mince information. It don't make no sense. We just give it to you and you can make a decision based on the information that you have. So you can expect quality information. All right, guys. Thank you so much.